Your daughter is deceased. This home is not true. The man convulsing with so-called chest pains is Michael Paton, accused of shooting his wife, Tamara Jo Paton, and her 2 teenage children, Kendall and Evan. After the killings in his home, he set the house on fire and called authorities. Police found him outside the burning home, gripping a semi-automatic handgun used in the shootings. You're going to be under arrest for capital murder. Excuse me, capital murder. Interviews with Tamara's friends exposed Michael's sinister side, the secret that drove Michael to kill his own family. The terror fanned out on February 19th, 2021, when the police received a 911 call from 37-year-old Michael, reporting the death of his 36-year-old wife, Tamara, along with his 2 kids, 13-year-old Evan Paton and 14-year-old Kendall Paton, in their home. During the call, Michael mentioned that there was a fire in the master bedroom. The massacre occurred in the 3100 block of Hickory Lane, Celina, Collin County, Texas. As the police arrived, Michael was found standing near his pickup truck with a gun in his hand. The firefighters found Tamara's dead body in the master bedroom. This is when the police ordered Michael to surrender the weapon and booked him for an interrogation. What follows next is a series of revelations intended to cover up a disturbing and gruesome truth. You don't remember anything from today? I think I can think of it as the other day my wife was... I've been struggling a little bit. I've been trying to work on it. I was going to counseling. I haven't been in a few weeks. I've been going to counseling. And I'm struggling on Saturday night. She had one of the guns and saying that her only way out, so she said the only way out was to basically catch up, and I wouldn't leave the room. I wouldn't leave her alone and kept trying to get the gun away from her. And after about 2 hours, I got it away from her, but told me that, basically, if I called in to try to get her some help, they'd take her person to license away. I didn't know what to do. Her best friend came over, and she ended up staying the night. I don't know if that was Sunday night because she was the whole day. I've been watching. I've been afraid that she was going to hurt herself. I had the guns. Who's her best friend? Her name's Heather. She worked with her or a high school friend. They're friends from middle school. Okay, you know what Heather's last name is? She's divorced, but I think she's still using Weber. Heather Weber. That rhymes. So this was, you think, last Sunday? Yeah, a couple days ago, Sunday night maybe. Okay. Do you know what today is? Thursday or Friday? Yes, today is Friday. Okay. So last Sunday night this still happened. Did you end up ever contacting anybody, or you just kind of let the friend I let the friend? I've been talking to her. She was doing better throughout. She was talking to me, kind of opening up, and that's how we were doing better. And she agreed that she'd do couples counseling with me. And she said that, she had been waffling on it back and forth for about a month. She agreed she'd go, told me I might not like all her answers, but that she would go because I thought it was important. And so I was going to look into it. And that was... Okay. And so you said you hid the guns? Where'd you hide them? What was that? I had one of them. It was up in my office that I didn't use it this week, but I've been using it for a few months, and the extra bedroom upstairs, and it was up there. And then the other one was... I hid it in a bag I was planning on putting in my truck and trying to find it. I tried to pick it up and it blew over, and I felt like she was better. How many guns do y'all have? 2. Are they both handguns or rifles? Both handguns. Do you know what they are? There's a Walther. It's a .22 and a 9mm Springfield. Okay, and you're going to be using that gun? They used to have a Springfield, not a Miller. I traded it for a Glock. I didn't like them until I started carrying them. I learned to love them. It was a transfer, but they're very, very simple to use and operate and take down and clean and interchange parts and all that stuff. I switched everything over and got rid of my Springfield. Has your wife ever had any stuff prior to this week? A couple years ago, she had thoughts of it. Work through it? Work through it. Has she ever had any kind of a medical treatment for it or anything like that? She just started opening up about when she was in middle school or high school. She went to counseling, just recently told me that she was abused when she was a kid. Okay. And that's why she's been not wanting to go to therapy with me, because she doesn't like the experience. Physical abuse? Abuse. From what she's told me, do you know who it was that done it to her, like a family or boyfriend? I think it was friends of her dad and maybe her stepdad. The detective begins the interrogation by testing the waters first. By talking about the reason behind Michael's wife's hopelessness, the detective tries to know what fueled Michael's desire to commit such terror. But contrary to Michael's statements, there's no evidence that confirms Tamara's depressive tendencies. In addition, Michael is not ready to admit what led him to commit such a crime. Commit the massacre of his own family. As per his confessions, he apparently woke up and suddenly found his wife and children dead. But soon enough, the investigator will tear this lie apart. She told me about one, including when she was living with her dad in Michigan. There was the neighbor. She had babysitting and woke up to him over her. And there was other ones that she didn't tell me about. Oh, so it's like not just one thing or not just one person, kind of multiple. And so she's struggled with that before. So, like I said, we worked through it. I've been trying to work through the issues that I was having. I've never been great with sharing my emotions, and that's why I went to counseling. I'm trying to be a better husband, a better dad. I've been able to reconnect with my kids a lot. We have a lot more conversations, and my daughter opens up to me a lot more. Have you ever read the book 5 Love Languages? I think I've heard of it. I think I found it on a website. I think I found a quiz for it. And then she and I actually took it a week or 2 ago. Okay, so recent then. What was her love language? I'm trying to remember the 5 of them. There's words of affirmation. Yeah, gifting wasn't high, but it was higher than mine. Receiving gifts. Yeah, the gift of love. The one where you do things for, like you clean the house. Act of service. Okay, that. I feel like act of service and affirmation were her high too. And then, of course, the intimate side of it. You know, that's most men. We never really had a problem with that. 17 years. We never really had a problem there. Me and my wife had a friend of ours give us that book, and we read it. And it kind of puts things in perspective, like, because you're raised a certain way by your parents, and she's raised a certain way by her parents. And, you kind of got to understand this is how this person thinks or perceives or whatever. So it really helped us because my wife's grandmother always bought her gifts. Like they never said, I love you. They didn't come up and give you a hug. They just, their way of showing love was, hey, here's a birthday present, or here's a gift, or here's this. And so that's how it kind of opened my eyes a little bit on, okay, let me see things from her perspective instead of mine. I'm trying to get her to look into some books and workbooks and stuff with me. I had a friend from high school, and she got divorced not long ago, and I asked her, what would you wish you did differently? And she said that she wished she would have done that. And she was telling me some of her church groups were not overly religious, but she was telling me church has a lot of resources. And so I've been trying to push her words out a little bit. What religion are you? We're really not. If anything, she would be more Wiccan than anything else. Wiccan? Yeah, like fairies and energies and stuff like that. That's kind of what her grandma was. I think there's something, but I don't know what it is. More what? I think there's something, but I don't know what it is. You think you're the god, but not, you're not, you wouldn't call it, You don't believe in Jesus Christ, to be a Christian per se. I took a comparative religions class years ago and studying different religions, and it's like, you can believe parts of all of them. And so I just kind of fell into the, I was baptized at boot camp, but that class kind of opened my eyes, like, okay, there's different beliefs, and some of them really tie together. And so I always kind of look at myself as more open-minded, and not a specific positive energy out, Positive energy in, it's kind of, you believe there's a creator kind of being having a science degree. I believe there's something, but I don't know that I'll ever know what it is. Yeah, because nothing comes from nothing, so I've never thought about it on the science side of it, because the science side of it is you mean Big Bang Theory or something, like, to that extent. And so biology was my worst class in school, so I'm not a big physics or biology person. It was my least favorite topic. What all religions was it that you studied in that class that you kind of took bits and pieces from? At this point, the detective discusses philosophy deliberately as a tactic to get Michael talking. Michael highlighting Tamara's past of being intimately abused seems like his way of painting himself as a supportive husband. That's because, till now, this monster has never once shed light on his mistakes or shortcomings. So, cutting to the chase, the detective will try to break his selective silence with an explosive question. I think I need to talk to somebody I can't remember, and I don't know what to do. Do you remember the police coming to your house this evening? I remember being on the sidewalk on my face. Mark, look at me. Yeah, look at me, brother. I'm going to be honest with you. Can you be honest with me? You called 911 tonight. You called 911, and you told the dispatcher that you wanted to kill yourself. Do you know why you would tell him that you wanted to kill yourself? The last 10 years, there's been 3 times that I've wanted to kill myself. If I'd said that tonight, if you want me to be honest with you, in the last 10 years, you wanted to kill yourself 3 different times? There's 3 moments. 3 moments? I never did. What are those 3 moments? One of them I got before I went back to school. I got screwed over. Bye. I didn't see it coming. I didn't protect myself, and I failed my wife. I failed the kids, and we're in a really bad place as far as financials go, and I wasn't doing well coping with it. It was a hit to me. And there had been rumors that my wife had slept with a coworker. She told me it wasn't true, but it was just another piece. Something else to ask the screws? Why were you wanting to hurt yourself today? I don't know. I want to help you, Mike, but you've got to remember, I've been trying since. I've been trying to draw my memory, walk through my day. That's what I was doing the whole time I was in the back of that car. What's happening? Michael's act of restlessness and nervousness makes him look like a bad actor trying to clown on everyone. But Michael confesses something that directly gives away his motive, and that confession is Tamara's romantic affair with one of her colleagues. But the puzzle still doesn't fall in place. Despite talking about his wife's flaws, Michael doesn't reveal why he had to shoot his children dead. Investigative records confirm Michael set his home ablaze to destroy all the evidence, believing the fire would easily engulf the bodies of his family members and make the murders appear accidental. Fed up with unanswered questions, the investigator turns to Gina, one of Tamara's trusted friends. She was just really very unhappy. It's been, because I'm also going through a divorce. So we kind of connected over that, and she said, she didn't feel like she could leave yet, but she needs to. She's miserable, unhappy. The kids, they've been together since they were 18, she said, but she said he's very controlling. She said that, I think this was a while ago, she did mention about him at some point getting physical, I want to say, but she didn't say exactly what. But that's kind of what she insinuated. And that's when I told her we need to get this out. It just seemed like she just couldn't leave, and that this was going on for a long time. I mean, I don't even know anything else about him. I don't even know his name. But from what she talks about him, I don't know. I don't know. She was just, unhappy. And then she had that thing going on with Dan, which was really intense, even though they never met. It seemed like they were really, really close. When you say intense, the intense in the aspect of, she told me she was, in love with him. She wanted to be with him, one day, but then at the same time she knew it was not realistic. They were just really, really close. She just made it sound like they were in love. That kind of thing. Did Dan know all of her stuff too, with the husband and problems and stuff like that? Or did she keep that stuff away from him? Yeah, I think she definitely said things. So this sent me, I had to break the news for him this morning. He lives in Costa Rica, and I guess he's on his mountain house. The Wi-Fi's not good, so he couldn't talk on the phone, so we ended up texting. He sent me screenshots of the last time with them talking, which was a minute before me and her texted last, and it sounded like she was talking about him, the husband. I just got out of the shower. She said, "Ooh, fun." Then she said, "I told Mike," which I'm assuming that's her husband. "I'm done. I'm staying with Gina tonight." She asked if she could stay over. He goes, "Oh, what happened?" She said, "I can't do this anymore. My mental health can't handle him coming." And then I got cut off. It says A. And I don't know. Did he do something he did, and that's all him trying to message her? And is that the only screenshot that he sent you? Yeah. So part of what we want to do is we want to get everything for we know, because if it goes through trial, we don't want something coming at us that we don't know. Yeah, and so that's why we're going to speak with everybody and go to these different places. This is my email address. Okay, can you send that screenshot to me? Yeah, sure. Do you want me to send the ones of me and her? Yes, and then I also would like to just kind of go over that with you and talk about that and see, what that conversation was and how you felt about it. Did you get all the footage? Yeah, I'm on that. No, I can't follow you. Do you have a driver's license? Yes, ma'am. We have 2 phones, ma'am. That's right. We need to get in touch. We need to get in touch. The accident? No. Yeah, this license isn't as cool as the Texas, and she don't have a shower at all. Mine looks pretty rough, too. Don't feel bad. So what were your messages with him, or with her? We talked about everything, just day-to-day stuff, like the last messages, or in general. And then we'll go in specifics about the last one. Okay, just everything. We would like make comments about things from the group, or how's your day going, or I'd talk about work, or she'd talk about whatever. She was doing some, I was telling her how I'm getting like burnt out at bedside, and she's like, oh, I'm doing this, whatever she does with the drug company. Like, it's so much better than that. With Gina's testimony, the detectives almost find the fountain of truth. It's evident that even though Michael was not physically abusive, he was quite controlling. This man knows how to keep someone emotionally chained to him. As per Gina's statements, Michael seems to have premeditated everything. In her forthcoming confessions, Gina will reveal more specifics regarding Tamara's extramarital affairs. I know she said that they used to have like an open marriage. They used to have an open marriage, where she did say a story once where, I guess, she was over at another man's house and the wife of the guy walked in on them. And then, their kids swam together. So when she saw Mara's husband at the swimming pool, she went up to him and, told him what she saw. And I guess he said, yeah, I know, I have the picture if you want to see them, or something like that. He already knew about it. So, she made it sound like they have kind of an open marriage type thing at some point. Sure, that was still the case now, but for how long ago that was, but that was a story she didn't mention once about him. Other than that he was controlling, because, I had a recent experience with someone controlling, so that's when she kind of opened up about her marriage a little bit, that, he was really controlling and this and that, and, always wants to be with her, makes her feel guilty, when she wants to do things for herself, that type of thing. But I don't recall any other stories, any specific events about violence, him being physically abusive or harmful to her, or her being physically abusive or anything like that. I do remember her saying once that she was crying all day because they were fighting, I guess. Oh, I do remember something. Actually, the husband left the iPad in her room one night and heard her on the phone with Dan, I guess for the, recorded the whole conversation without her knowing, and then she found out afterwards when Jesse was there. And he said he put on the listen to the first, minute or 2, and then he had to shut it off. I don't remember this. Maybe a month? Maybe more than a month? 3 months ago? Oh. No matter how. So that was another thing she did tell me. Yeah, she did say, I don't remember, this just lost so long ago that I don't remember specifics, but I do remember her saying at some point he got she felt a little intimidated by him, insinuated that he might physically do something, and that's when I told her get out, just that. Has she ever had any events where she's had mental breakdown or tried to calm herself or anything of that instance? I know Heather told me this morning about, last week, but she never told me anything about wanting to harm herself or anyone else. Was that before Heather came and spoke with us? Yes, that was before. Yeah, I haven't spoken to her since she called me from her station. I just texted her, but there were times where she told me she was crying, because she was upset, or she got in a fight. But you don't know, she never shared with you. You don't know anything about this incident that happened this last week? No, I don't know anything about that. Yeah. Is there anything that you can think of that would be relevant as far as... I think we've kind of covered all that. It seems like y'all were close but not close, but there's something else. There's some things that she is still kind of holding in. I wouldn't say we were like really close. I don't really met her, but like an online sort of just venting someone to vent to each other. She seemed like a nice person too. Did she give you any details about Daniel? Have they made any plans to meet each other or anything like that? Or are they just trying to not do anything online? So they didn't make any concrete plans to meet. I think mostly because of, COVID and everything. But they definitely talked about wanting to meet up at some point, about him coming here, like him coming to New York or Texas. They did talk about that, but there were no concrete plans. Okay, what is his position? I know he's a doctor, is that correct? Yeah, he's a physician, kind of like in general medicine, hospital. He's playing on his own. Is he born and raised in Costa Rica, or is he over there just because of... He's born and raised there. Do you know if he is single, married, anything like that? He's single. I know he owns his own house and his brother lives there. While Tamara did have affairs, Michael's accusations of her mental instability seem unfounded. Moreover, according to Michael's neighbors, he had a good relationship with Kendall and Evan. This means that Michael is definitely good at maintaining a strong facade of a caring father. Besides, for someone who was a friend of Tamara, Gina seems quite calm about her death. But in the following moments, Gina's subsequent testimony about Tamara's affair might shed light on why Michael did the unthinkable. He was embarrassed because he wanted to sound like more white, he said, so he changed his name to Dan. When did he tell you this? Like a month ago, maybe? After you shared that with him more often? No, I didn't, because I didn't feel like it was my place. So his name is really Jose? Yeah. Not because he looks like Dan, otherwise I'll forget that. I know this may seem silly, but I'm just trying to get a picture. Was there a relationship between the two of them? Were they phone sending and sending pictures and talking and all that stuff? Yes. You may not know the answer to this question because you and Maura have not met in person or whatever, but did Maura's husband know that side of him? Yes, from what I'm aware. That there was a lot of it? Yes. Did she just tell you that her husband knew about that? She said that he knew everything. Had she told you anything about the work? What were their plans? Were they trying to work it out? Were they going to split up? Were they trying to divide assets? What was there? She said she's been trying for years. They were trying to work things out for years. And she just can't do it anymore. Like, exactly like that, she pretty much said. And that, she's just been trying to leave sort of thing, like he kind of guilt trips her, but that like she hasn't been in love with him for like at least a year. Do you know a specific time frame where has she told him like, hey, the marriage is over? Or is he still under the impression they were trying to work things out? She made it sound like she told him multiple times that, she's not happy, that she messed out. I guess last night when she texted me, she said, I told him I'm done. I thought that meant I'm done with the work, because she was doing a lot of work yesterday, because she was patching up since, she lost power for a little bit. So I didn't really think anything of it, but Heather told me that she said no. She told him that she's done with the marriage, because I guess she told Heather something similar, and, she knows her better. So I was like, oh, I realized that. She had texted me because she wasn't sure if she would be able to come out tonight because of all the work she had to do. And then, I said, no problem. We ended up pushing the reservation out. So she said, she would come. She's like, I'm going to come, blah, blah, blah. I just got out of the shower. I might be late, but I'll be there. Talking about last night? Yeah. And then she said, I'll text you when I leave. I said, okay. And then we get to the restaurant, and it's like an hour later. And I said to Heather, hey, Heather, like, she reached out to you. Like, I don't want to keep texting her. Or she doesn't want to come. She said, no, she hasn't responded to me. I have her GPS usually, so let me check. And then she checked the GPS, and she wasn't on it, which I guess is unusual, she said, because we were thinking, oh, like, did she flake maybe? Maybe she just didn't want to come, sort of thing. She's like, no, that's not like her. What time was this? Our reservation was at 8 o'clock. We got there. 8:15, I want to say, and we got seated around 8:30. What was that? The Lucas. So she was supposed to meet y'all for dinner last night. Yes, at the Lucas and Deep Ellen. So we were, because I told that she could meet us here, so that way we could go together. But she said she's running late. So and then she had asked me if she could stay the night as well, because we were going to go to the Red River. I think it's called Cowboy Red River or something. Cowboy Red River. Yeah, it's a bar type thing. So we were going to be drinking, so she didn't want to drive. Do you mind if we look at your messages from yesterday? Yeah, just kind of. Did you already send them? No, she had a little bit. Yeah, I'll send everything. It's not clear why Tamara started the affair with Jose. Perhaps trapped in her abusive marriage, she uses Jose as an outlet to escape Michael's control. With inadequate proof to incriminate Michael, the detective is about to interrogate Heather, one of Tamara's other friends. Like when I was at home? Okay. Anything that you know or saw that, would scare you or concern you, or this is just when some of the things that she would tell me, like how he cornered her in the closet the other night and was going on for 4 hours about how they could fix their marriage and make it work, and cornered her in the closet. Yeah, he touched her physically or anything, just wouldn't let her get away from him to not have the conversation and give her the space. Okay, so it's been an active argument about he wants to work the marriage out, and she doesn't. When was this? That was Tuesday. When was the last time you saw her in person? It was Wednesday. This Wednesday? This past Wednesday? Everything seemed fine. I got there late Tuesday night, and he slept on the couch. Her and I slept in the master bedroom. And in the morning, the three of us even had friendly conversation and were joking about the cat lawyer memes. And it was a pretty normal morning. He made us coffee, and everything seemed stable at least. There was nothing that was telling me that there's a huge red flag. Was there a specific reason that you went and said, you're not over there? Because he had cornered her and wouldn't give her space, and I typically I'm usually a good buffer. Okay. And it gave her the space she needed. When I got there, you could tell she'd been crying all day. Her eyes were beyond puffy. They would practically be swollen shut. They were so puffy. Before that incident, when was the last time you had to go over there and stay? Usually, if I stayed, it was because her and I would go out for dinner, and if I drank, I wasn't driving home. Okay. So it wasn't just for that was the first time I'd gone over to really serve as a buffer, and that was Tuesday? Tuesday night into Wednesday morning? Yes. Okay. I asked you if Mike had any history that you know of thoughts and stuff like that. Did she have any kind of histories, thoughts, or actions? I don't tell him. What happened this past Tuesday? When he wouldn't leave her alone, she wanted out. What happened then? She didn't do it. I came over and just wouldn't let her. Made a talk to her and told her. I was like, this is what you want to do. I was like, you have 2 recent miscarriages. Can you give me, and I know it's hard, but can you tell me all of the details that you know about that specific event? Just the night we cornered. And when she was texting me, it was the texts that were like, I think it was actual text. It was very vague and ambiguous, but when I was a teenager, I had thought about it too. And so she said there's only one way out. She said she's going to end it for good. She says it's the only way. She's like, and she kept saying, she's like, I'm sorry, it's the only way. I can't live like this. I want it to be over. It will be over soon. Only one step. He won't let me go. No. And then I told her I was coming over. She said, no, it's not safe to drive. And then I told her that I was coming. She kept saying, Heather, I'm okay. It will be okay. I stayed there till she's in the closet? No, it says, been begging. Oh yeah, been begging for 15 minutes to let me go. And you responded back, he won't let you go. He has made that. No, saying that he won't, he's not willing to give up on the marriage. Okay, this is not talking specifically about the just talking about the marriage. Yes. Did he threaten anything about it? Like, saying he wouldn't let her go? Like, is there... She never said there was a threat. Just that she was insulted. Is there... He isn't going to let her go because he doesn't want to win. Okay. Despite talking about confining Tamara in a closet, Heather doesn't give out any detail. According to the investigators, Michael informed the emergency services of finding Tamara unresponsive in a closet. He also stated that the children didn't even respond when he called out their names. With all the evidence gathered, investigators are about to confront Michael with one final blow. You're going to be under arrest for capital murder. Capital Mayor, you caught me a minute ago whenever I used past tense instead of present tense. Here's what I need you to do, Michael. Okay, I need you to stand up and turn around and face that wall for me. Okay? Stand up for me. All right, I'll put things on the floor here. Don't put your hands on the wall, just face the wall. Okay? No, I didn't. It's not hurting anymore. Hang on, I'm going to lock them so they don't tighten up on your wrist. Have a seat real quick. Take a breath, Michael. I'm going to get somebody so we can walk you over to the jail, okay? Okay, Weber might be outside still. Here, Weber might be outside still. Yeah, Mike, we're going to have a car pulled around so we got to drive you over there because there's ice and stuff still outside. So I don't want you walking across the ice. Thank you. No. Mark, don't fall down on me. If you're going to be like that, sit down on the chair. It's not true. Please, tell me it's not true. No? Please. Are you talking to me or yourself? This only is not true. Your daughter is deceased. According to Michael, the killings followed a dispute with Tamara. After all this, one uncertainty finally remains: whether Michael should be given the harshest punishment for such a senseless massacre. In November 2022, Michael pleaded guilty to capital murder and was sentenced to life in prison on December 1st, 2022, without the possibility of parole. He pleaded guilty to specifically avoid the death penalty.